talking about an ideal transformer, and this is the ideal transformer symbol here. And we usually divide it into the primary side on the left, which has N1 turns on it, and the secondary side, and the number of turns is N2. And in between is galvanic isolation. Let's look at the voltage and current characteristics. So first start with voltage. On the input side, we have a V1, and then we divide that by N1. And then that energy is going to be transferred to the other side, and we can write the equation as that is equal to V2 over N2. So you can kind of start with that, and then we can rewrite V2 in terms of V1, and then divide or multiply by N2 over N1. So that's our ratio of the voltages. And often with flyback converters, we will define N equals N2 over N1. So this is our turns ratio, and it makes it a little bit easier for our calculations. You don't have to keep track of N1 and N2, it's just a ratio. So now let's rewrite that. V2 equals V1 times N. So you can remember this basic equation for the primary to secondary side. Now let's look at the power. So here we have the input and the output power. The instantaneous power must always match in a transformer. So V1 times I1 equals V2 times I2. So that always has to be true for an ideal transformer. No exception. And we can use this equation now and derive the current as well. So if we look at the power balance, so V1 I1 equals V2 I2, we can now use the voltage equation we just wrote, and we can put that into our V2 here. And now we can rewrite the first part and then replace V2 with V1N and then multiply it out. And now you can see we have V1s on both sides. We can cancel those two terms out. And then we're left with just I1 equals N times I2. So these are the basic relationships for the voltage and current and power in an ideal transformer. So you can remember these equations, and we'll use them in our circuits that use ideal transformers. So here we have a transformer, and there's two little dots. This one is on the top, and these ones are top and then bottom, so they're reversed. And the polarity of the output voltage, or the secondary side, will always match that of the dot. So here it's going to be the same as with the for primary side, and here it's going to be flipped because we're matching the plus to the dot side. Okay, so that's always true. The other part is the current. The current is going to be into one dot and out the other. So on this one, it's going out of the dot to go through the resistor, and then this one has to go into the dot in order to balance correctly. And on this one, we're going to go out of that dot to go through the resistor, and this one's going to go into that one. So in one dot, out the other, and the voltage polarity matches the dot. So here's an example. Let's first just draw the polarities, and this has no output on the load. So V2 is plus to minus, and then we're going to draw the current in that direction. Then we have the current is going to be 0 because there's no load, and we know based on the ideal current equation that if the current is going to be 0 on the secondary side, it must be true 0 also on the primary side. So we know P input will be the same as P output, which will all be 0. So in this case, if there's no load, essentially no power can go into the transformer and no power comes out. All right, so let's look at the other example. Here we have a constant current source on the load. So, and based on the dots, we're going to draw the voltage polarity, and we draw the current, we define it in this direction, but the actual current is going through the reverse direction. So it's going to be a negative I here, if I is a constant current value. And so now we can write that out. So I1 is equal to N times I2, but I2 is a negative. So what this means is actually current is flowing from the secondary side through the transformer into the primary side. And because you have two sources essentially, you're able to flow in that direction. So here again, the power must balance. So we can write out all of our values, and then our power input must equal our power output, which in this case would be equal to V2, negative V2 times I. So that would be our expression, but the important thing here is that power always will balance. So one more time, instantaneous power must balance always. To summarize, this is the ideal transformer. We have the primary side and the secondary side. It provides galvanic isolation. There's dots, and those tell us the polarity of the voltage. And then the current we define into one dot and out the other. And the instantaneous power must match in an ideal transformer.